As the holiday season approaches, nonprofits across Rockford say they're working harder than ever to secure donations. WIFR's Miriam Niesmeyer shows us how rising need and competition for funding impact local organizations.
The need is through the roof.
The end of the year is a critical time for donations when many nonprofits make a final push to meet their annual goals.
Hunger doesn't go away when the news is quiet about it. Hunger remains in the community all year round.
Smaller nonprofits like Rockford Barbell says the market is crowded with many organizations looking for funding and community support.
The strain that we feel is just kind of the uncertainty of grant funding at these different levels. So having a strong support through individual donations is something that we're trying to make a point this year.
But as more families need help, Rock River Valley Pantry CEO Tabitha Andres Cruz says they're already seeing more people walk through the door.
In the last 5 days, we've seen 73% more individuals coming into the pantry than we have averaged over the last 3 months.
Andres Cruz says when donations dip, it has a direct impact on how much families can get.
We're not the only ones that might run short, so it'll ripple through the rest of the pantries, and when there's less food to give, less money to purchase food, they're going to be hungry.
Gannett says they have seen a 5 to 10% increase in the number of families they serve.
Part of it just being a young organization and the word getting out more and more about what we do and what we can offer and how we can support kids and families.
In Rockford, Miriam Niesmeyer, WIFR News.
Both nonprofits say donations make the biggest difference helping organizations buy what they need. They hope the community can give even after the holidays.